Hey guys, welcome to Malt Mondays. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Vin PF over at No Nonsense Whisky. You can check out his channel. It's spelled exactly the way it sounds. He does some great reviews over there. He was one of the first guys to welcome me onto YouTube and doing this whole thing. Give a shout out to him. So for my review today, I'm going to be taking a look at the Macallan 12-year-old. And this is, for a lot of people, the classic single malt Scotch that they think of. When people think of Scotch, they either think of Johnny Walker or Macallan or sometimes Glenmorangie, Glenfiddich. But Macallan is definitely up there in terms of name recognition, even with people that aren't necessarily Scotch drinkers. And partially that's because they have really promoted themselves as a premium brand in a very similar way to the way Apple does with their computers. Macallan has sort of reinvented themselves since the late 90s with the Macallan as being collectible, as being more original than the rest because of their cask selection program. There's all this stuff that goes into the way they've done this, but people really do look at the Macallan as a premium product, and that's how they get away with pricing their whiskeys much higher than their competitors at similar age statements. So, for instance, the Macallan 18-year-old retails for about $190 to $250, depending on where you live, whereas most 18-year-olds sit at the $110, $125 mark. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not worth it if you really like Macallan, and they certainly do produce some very high-quality whiskeys. So today I'm taking a look at the 12-year-old, and it is bottled at 43% ABV. And one of the things I like about Macallan is that they're all natural coloring. They don't use caramel coloring in their whiskeys, and that's a little bit of a point of pride for them and helps with their whole premium, this is the original Scotch whiskey, the way it's originally done sort of thing. So the first thing I want to look at is the bottle. And both my miniature and the full-size bottle here are bottled at 43% ABV, which is great. That's good on Macallan for bottling everything they do above 40%, at least in America. Then they have their exclusively matured in select oak casks from Spain. And it's select sherry oak casks. And that's important because Macallan really makes a big deal out of their cask program and the fact that they use sherry oak in their whiskeys. Now, the Fine Oak series is a departure from that. They use some bourbon in there, and that divided a lot of Macallan fans. But it's still their sherry cask whiskeys that they're known for. So, we're going to go ahead and see how this smells. Loads of sherry. There's vanilla, butter. It's very rich, rich smell. The sherry is almost raisiny, like you can almost smell the viscosity to it. I get a little bit of ginger and definitely some oak coming through. There's no alcohol burn on the nose, which is good considering that this retails anywhere from $55 to $70 in my area. Really, really nice aroma here. I don't get any of the sulfur that some people pick out in the Macallan, and it's possible that that's just not an aroma that I'm sensitive to. So we'll see how it tastes. Right away you get raisins and milk chocolate and vanilla. And then on the finish, there's the spice from the European oak coming through. It's got mixed spices like baking spices, prunes. Very nice, thick, oily mouthfeel. The finish isn't super long, but it's definitely an evolving flavor. And that's what I look for in a good scotch. This starts off raisiny, and then it gets a little bit woodier, and then it becomes almost a little milk chocolatey, and then it finishes spicy. So the flavor is changing in your mouth over time, and that makes it really enjoyable to drink. Now, I wouldn't add water to this. It's only 43% ABV, and it's mature enough. I don't think it needs it. So if I was going to score this, I would probably give it an 86. And that's a little bit of a variable score for me, because most of the places where I see this, it's priced at $70, which is about $20 more than most other 12-year-old scotches. At $70, I think this is only an 84 or an 85. I don't think it's that good at $70. However, there are a few places that carry it at $55. And at $55, you're putting this right next to the Glenmorangie Quinta Ruben, the Glenmorangie La Santa. A lot of other 12-year-olds exist right in that $50 to $55 range. And I think this is better than most of those, objectively. It's not necessarily my favorite of them, but I think the depth of flavor that exists here and the richness, if you enjoy sherried whiskey, I think this is the king of the sherried 12-year-old whiskeys. So if you can find this at a comparable price to its competitors, I think this score even goes up a bit, maybe to 88 or 89, just because I think at $55, this is fantastic value. But a lot of places it's more expensive because Macallan is a premium brand, and there is some shortage globally of the age statement Macallans. You know, it's not available in every market, so that has increased the price. But like I said, if you're finding this at $55 or whatever's comparable to that in your area, if it's in the same price range as those Glenmorangies, then this is the better whiskey in my opinion. So if you like this video, go ahead and check out my review of the Macallan 10-Year-Old Fine Oak. The link is in the description below. And please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.